Greetings and welcome to MBA 522. This video is going to be a brief instruction on how to use and navigate Blackboard. I know that you've probably had some instruction on this in your orientation program, or perhaps if you have used Blackboard in the past, you should be familiar with it. But I want you to be aware of how I've set up the class and what you can expect as you navigate the course. Most important is everything you really need is going to be here on the left-hand side. You won't see resources below that because that's all course management. That's my things. But this is what you'll see here. It will start at the top. You'll have the course name and information here. Then we have announcements, and we're on the announcements page here. And that announcements page will have every new announcement that I send out to you here, which will automatically send to your SIUE email. If you want to stay on top of announcements, it is important that you use your SIUE email. All communication from me will go directly to your SIUE email if I initiate the communication. I certainly will respond to you if you have sent me emails from your personal accounts, but anything that I send to you, which you need to pay attention to, will be sent to your SIUE email. So please make sure you're on top of that. So all the announcements will be here, and they're usually instructing you on what to expect for the week, or if there's a change in plans, or if something new comes up. I keep you abreast of things in the class through those announcements. Below that is a link that says getting started. And that's probably the most important thing for you to do, first of all, in getting into the class. The first thing you'll notice is this video that you should be watching. It'll be located here. I'm creating it now for you. That's why it seems to be missing from this spot. But the navigating Blackboard video, start with that. Then we will work through a checklist, and this checklist tells you the things to be paying attention to. Read about this course, read the syllabus, read and verify you have the minimum technical requirements, et cetera, all sorts of things here. And then we have a week 0 where you have to introduce yourself and do a few things, which I will show you in a few minutes. Here it tells you what the learning goals are for the MBA program, how important it is for us to ensure that those learning goals are being addressed. So we want you to be aware of what they are, and we will try to communicate to you through the course how we are meeting those goals. The course introduction video is here from me, as you can see, along with the course learning objectives. So we have the MBA program objectives, and we also have the course learning objectives, twofold. Below that is your syllabus. This is a downloadable version of it. You're welcome to download it or simply view it here in Blackboard, but this has a lot of very important information. So make sure you click on this and you access this to be able to know when due dates are, what the course policies are, and things like that. Below that, we have the textbook. Now, the textbook is available on Red Shelf, which is a digital version. There's also a version available that you can get that's a hard copy through our bookstore. If you want to actually own the book outright, you'll have to buy that on your own, but you can rent it, and the rental fees are already included in your tuition fees. You can rent it from the textbook services, or you can use Red Shelf, either way. Below that here is the Harvard course pack that you'll be using. Here's the link for it. You should be able to click on this. That will get you right to where you need to go in Harvard. You have to download and then purchase the Harvard course pack. That's a $23.50 course pack, a nominal fee. It has 3 items in it, 2 cases and a simulation that you'll be using in class. The next link here is instructions for how to access the Ethics Game Ethical Lens inventory. And that link will open up and tell you where to go and what code to put in to be able to access the Ethical Lens inventory. The university and the school pays for this particular assessment for you because they believe that these are important assessments for everybody to have. This link gets you to Red Shelf, which is where all the textbooks are. In fact, let me click on this and I will show you what that looks like. And it is loading up, and you should see a book here that says Framing Decisions. It's a hand with a frame in it. And ironically enough, the guy who wrote the book is called Frame. Go figure. But anyway, that is how that basically works. So we will close this up for you here and head back to the class. Here is a link to the academic integrity module. Every student must complete the academic integrity module before they can have access to course materials. If you have taken this module in another class, all you'll need to do is upload your certificate on the first day of class, and you should be able to then access course materials. But you want to make sure that you take the module, pass the quiz with at least 80%, and then download and save your certificate that demonstrates the day you completed it and that you completed it successfully. Below this is just contact information about who I am and who your facilitators are. Our facilitator for this class is MJ Grody, and she is a former MBA student. She's taken this class before, and she used to be a coach with the basketball team, the women's basketball team. So you can get information on how to reach me and how to reach MJ. And sometimes Austin also is a facilitator for the class. You won't see this because he's not a facilitator this term, but he might be in future classes. So this is a video that I'll be using in the future for multiple classes. The questions and concerns link. If you have any questions or concerns about course layout, course materials, where to find things, you can post a link here. I do encourage you to watch this video first and make sure that you know how to navigate, know where to look and find things. But if you really find that you're struggling, by all means, please reach out. I would rather you ask than not ask. We require APA format for students, and so these are some resources for you to learn how to use APA format. Unless you're writing a detailed research paper, you don't need to have a cover page and all those sorts of things, but you do need to make sure your citations are in APA format. That's the most important thing that we want you to learn throughout this course. Here is the link on the minimum technical requirements and all sorts of services and resources and policies that are available here for you. So this is the Getting Started link. I'm going to come back up to the top now and continue back down this left-hand menu. Here is an additional link to the academic integrity module. I'm going to click on this here so you can see what that looks like. It'll open up. You can click on the module here to access the material and begin the quiz, begin the learning module. And then here's the quiz. You'll need to click on that quiz and take the quiz. It's got a number of questions of which you need to pass with an 80%. When you are done, it will generate a certificate for you, and you can print. You'll see there's a print window. You can print it, save it to a PDF, save it on your computer, and you just need to make sure that you share this with other professors who may be asking you to complete this academic integrity module. Below here, it also is another external link to questions and concerns. You don't have to necessarily go through Getting Started. I also provided a link here for you in this left-hand menu, which is an easy access for you. Below this, you'll see course content and group discussion boards. I'm going to take you to group discussion boards first because that's quick to be able to illustrate this. You're going to have to do 3 discussion boards in the class with a group. You'll do the discussion within the group. You will not be exchanging information with other teams, but your group will be given a case and you will be expected to read the case, discuss the case, collaborate with your team, and come up with a agreeable answer that all the team members have contributed to and agree with. Then one member of your team will upload it into the team discussion board portal. I will go in and grade it, but you will see the feedback for the discussion board and the grade when I'm done grading it. So I'm going to click on it here so you can see what that looks like. You won't see all these groups because this is the instructor portal and I can see all the groups, but you will see what your group is and what you're assigned to. And I will be assigning those groups sometime in the middle of the first week of class, maybe towards the end of it. But just so you can get into it, get to know who your team members are, and we'll have our discussion board set up for you in that manner. So when you click on this link, it brings you in here. You will see the names of your team members here. and you'll see these 4 links here: a file exchange, if you need to share files with other people in your team, a group discussion board portal, group tasks, and a send an email to your group. I highly recommend really just using regular email from Outlook in your SIUE email rather than using this email link. But if you need to, you can do that. So here's the group discussion board. You will have an ungraded forum here at the top, and this is where you can work with your team to discuss each case as it comes up, exchange information there, and provide feedback to each other. And then each discussion board will open on a schedule after that so that you have access to them. The first one is due the end of week 4, and I will let you know when those due dates are. The next one is at the end of week 5, and then the last one will be week 7. The end of week 7 will be due. So there's 3 discussion boards in the class, and this is because we want our students to interact with each other. It is important in online learning that students aren't just out there floundering on their own, that we want them to have interaction with each other, interaction with their professor, and interaction, with the local community if need be, depending on the nature of the course that you're taking. It is important for you to have these online interactions. It is important for you to know these discussion boards are not optional. You must do them, and you must participate. And if you don't participate, your team members will leave your name off of the submission, and you will not get the team grade for the case. So it is important that you make sure that you have contributed to the process so that your name is on that submission when it goes through. I want to take you back here to the left-hand menu to where it says course content, because here is where you will see all of the course materials. When we are ready to do peer evaluations at the end of the term, this link will be made available to you, and it will tell you what to expect in terms of where to find the portal to do the team evaluation and give feedback on that. Here is what I call a due date grid, and because I have you, there's a soft deadline and a hard deadline. The soft deadline keeps you apace with the material on a weekly basis. The hard deadline is there not because I want you working in the hard deadline, because you'll be a week behind till the very end. That's there in case of emergency, a family emergency, a work emergency, you're sick, something happens. I understand life interferes with life, and sometimes we need to have a little bit of grace and a little bit of elbow room to be able to complete an assignment, maybe on a Monday as opposed to Sunday at 11. So there's a soft deadline, which is how you should keep pace with the material so you don't fall behind. And then there's a hard deadline, which is there giving you just a grace period in case you fall behind. But you should be forewarned. You may not fall behind more than a week, and if you do, portals will close for you. You'll need to talk to me about about letting me know that you fell behind. I will put in a 0 for you, or depending on what the situation is, we may allow for a late submission, and that's on a case-by-case basis. But your week 6 and 7 will open up simultaneously, and remember, your final week is very short. It starts on a Monday and ends on a Friday versus the other weeks, which start on a Monday and end on a Sunday. So it is important that you make sure that you stay on top of things, because there is no grace period after week 7. The grades need to be submitted after that. So it is important you get it done by the end of week 7 as a hard deadline. This will tell you when the quizzes are due, when the hard deadline is for the quizzes. Obviously, quizzes are due obviously with each week to keep pace, but these are the hard deadlines here. So week 6 and 7 are due by June 23rd. At the very latest, you can take the quiz by May 21st. As it says here, there's no soft deadline for module 7. What you'll also notice under here is the deadline for the discussion boards, discussion 1, discussion 2, and discussion 3, so that we have those highlighted for you. Pay attention to that. I will make sure that there is a downloadable link for you to be able to download that, to have access to that. If you want to put it up on a bulletin board or on your desk somewhere, you can do that. After that, you'll see folders. this will not become available to you until you complete the coursework. So you finish all the requirements in this module, this opens up for you, and then the next module will open up for you. It sort of opens up on an automatic basis. So your pre-course work, you click on this, and you'll see that there are 3 assignments in here. One is just an introduction of yourself and who you are, what your major is, what you like to do in your free time, and what do you want to learn in the class. This is an internet crash plan where you will be asked for what your backup plan is if your internet crashes or your computer dies or you miss a file, because you are responsible in a virtual context to stay on top of the work. If you have problems with your internet, what is your backup plan? How are you going to handle it? So make sure that you are on top of that. And then, of course, here will be the link that will be available for you to upload your academic integrity quiz certificate once you complete that. Once you complete all those requirements, you will get your badge automatically that opens up, that says, congratulations, you've completed the coursework. And that enables you then to go to the next module. Notice on the front page of the module, the landing pad here for it, it tells you what the learning goals are for the week. It tells you what things we're going to cover in the material, the lecture materials that are here. It tells you when it should be done by to meet the soft deadline. And then because I offer a hard deadline, this will tell you at the very latest when this stuff can be submitted. I encourage you, as I say again, to make sure you stay within this initial soft deadline, because if you start working in that grace period, you'll be behind by the end of the term. So we'll click on this link, and every module looks the same. So don't be surprised. I'm not going to go through every single one of those links for you, but I do want you to see this. Number one, I will have an introductory video here. It's what I'm working on tonight. So that will be uploaded in here shortly. This will be a list of readings that you need to do. Most of these articles are very short, but you do have some textbook chapters to address here in the textbook. We encourage you to do that early in the week. Read the material first, and then dive into the lecture material, which comes up next. The lectures will be in a folder here, which I will click on for you. And you'll see a list of maybe some audio recordings or different lecture folders with different material in it. This is a quick intro to decision making. We'll get that up and running. And make sure that this is actually working. This should be working. Here we go. So you'll see the video, and this is an introductory video to give you an idea of what the concepts are about decision making. We have leaders versus managers and the decisions that they make here. We have an additional introduction to decision making lecture material. So we try to break it down into small chunks, 15-20 minutes each, so you're aware of kind of what's going on in the introductory material. So all of these things are available for you here. And each folder basically looks like this. There's just material, there's a PowerPoint available for you, and then the lecture videos that are usually in smaller snippets. Let me go back out here from the lecture folder, which is here, that tells you the lecture content that's in there. Then we move on to the quizzes. So each module has a quiz. I think it's like 20 questions, maybe. You'll click on this and the quiz will begin. Once the timer is done, it's done. You cannot stop the timer. So if you start the quiz, you need to finish it. Otherwise, the timer will still count down. Sometimes there are little glitches that happen. If you have a problem with the timer, reach out to me and I can reset your quiz, no problem. But this will tell you what's in the quiz that you should be aware of. Then we move on to the last thing, which is the assignment. And here is a list of the things that you need to do for this assignment. So you will have a quick video to talk about the decision-making style inventory instrument. Here's the instrument that you need to take. Here is the case that you should read. And then here is the assignment and where you should submit it. So where it says turn it in here, the link right next to it, if you click on that, it enables you to upload your assignment into Turnitin where we will use that portal to grade. Lastly, we have a summary page at the bottom. And what the summary basically tells you is if you want to move to module 2, you have to do 3 things. You have to mark reviewed for the module folder for module 1, which means in that main folder in the main content area, you'll see a little button that says mark reviewed. Click on that. That tells me that you reviewed everything that was in the folder. You are confident that you are done with it. Second, you will have to do your quiz attempt. You only get 1 attempt, but you'll have to do your quiz attempt. And then lastly, you get 1 submission for your assessment for whatever the assessment is for the module. And then once you have completed those 3 things, which are almost identical for each module, you will then will be able to proceed to the next module. Again, you can go through the material as fast as you like. You just cannot fall behind any more than 1 week. If you have any more questions or concerns, please reach out and let me know. But I hope this video is helpful for you, and we look forward to seeing you in class.